All right, remember earlier in the week when Kansas City announced that wide receiver Demarcus Robinson and backup center Daniel Kilgore were going on the COVID list due to a close contact with a positive test? Remember that? Do you also remember when I said that as bad as that is, it could be so much worse? Yeah, well, it turns out it really could have been so much worse. This story now officially has a bit of everything. We've got a masked barber, a positive test, a major bullet dodged, and a dude who really wanted a haircut. Now, what we knew before was that the barber had passed multiple tests in advance of Sunday's round of haircuts. But then on Sunday, he swabbed positive in a rapid test. And then those results came when he started cutting his first head, Daniel Kilgore. That's why Kilgore had to go into the COVID list and quarantine for 5 days. The team then found out that the barber had also cut Robinson's hair on Saturday away from the facility. So he went on the list and he had to quarantine. They're both eligible still to play in the Super Bowl, provided they keep testing negative. But again, it could have been so much worse because Adam Schefter tweeted, and I quote, "There were over 20 Chiefs players and staffers, including QB Patrick Mahomes, scheduled Sunday to get a haircut with the barber who tested positive for COVID, per sources. The Chiefs acted wisely and aggressively, and they pulled the barber mid-cut once his test results came in." End of quote. In other words, that barber who tested positive was about to come into contact with more than 20 players and staffers, including Patrick Mahomes. Patrick freaking Mahomes. He was on the list to get his haircut that day with the barber who is now tested positive. If Mahomes and the others had gotten that trim, they all would have had to go onto the COVID list for 5 days. That would mean no practicing, no in-person contact for the 5 days leading up to the Super Bowl for 20 guys, including Patrick Mahomes. So that's not just a bullet that KC dodged. That's a nuclear bomb. You think that might have had any sort of an impact on a Super Bowl? Do you think maybe something like that might have impacted the outcome of the game itself? And that's before we even get to the possibility that Mahomes or somebody else could test positive. Like, that's a whole different level of potential disaster. But even if none of the guys and staff members did swab positive after that, they still would have had to go 5 days without practice, like these two. And it would have been a major distraction. You know, the kind of distraction that no team wants in the lead up to the biggest game ever. Then you go from one of the best matchups ever to one of the worst. Thankfully, for everybody, the results did come back when they came back. And the barber found out during his first haircut. All right, so disaster avoided. That's it, right? Not exactly. There's more to that story. Because according to Schefter, quote, "For those wondering, being the Chiefs center, Daniel Kilgore already was sitting in the barber chair and deemed a close contact. He told the barber to finish, and he did." End quote. So check out Kilgore on that one. Man, how's that for a move? Again, we're talking about a guy who, even though he's masked up and the barber's masked up, is sitting next to somebody who just tested positive. And he's not looking to bounce. He's the one saying, "Nah, man, you finish what you started. Don't you half-ass this cut. Look good, feel good. Feel good, play good. Look like crap, feel like crap, play like crap. Even if finishing means that I test positive and I don't get to play at all. No, man, you're not going anywhere." I can just see the barber and Kilgore in mid-cut. Team officials running down a hallway to get to these guys. Kilgore sees it playing out. He knows what's about to happen. He's getting nervous. Except he wasn't. He grabbed the barber's arm, right? Can you see this? With a vice grip, and says, "Finish the cut. Finish the cut." Like, nobody's ever wanted anything, I don't think, worse than Kilgore wanted that cut. Wanted that cut to actually be finished. His plan was to get his hair cut that day, and he'll be damned if he's going to leave that job before he's half done. This guy was not going to tap. That barber could have come down with about 50 different highly contagious diseases. The building could have been on fire, and Kilgore was going to finish that thing. Priorities, right? He might be rolling with a guy who tested positive for a highly contagious and extremely serious virus, but he's going to get that cut. My man might be walking out of there with a virus, but he's walking out with a fresh cut, and apparently that's what matters. So as of right now, according to reports, both Kilgore and Robinson have stayed home this week. and they have tested positive so far. So they're on track to fly to Tampa and play in the game. And if so, then Kilgore is going to be doing it with a sick cut. My man said finish it. He's got to be like, man, I don't care if you are changing into a flesh-eating zombie. Finish the cut. Yeah, but Daniel, I might take a chunk out of your skull and eat your brains. Yeah, anyway, you haven't finished shaping my sideburns yet. Finish the cut. Can you imagine what that would have been like? Could you imagine if those 20 guys, including Patrick Mahomes, had gotten that cut? If they didn't get the result back in time? How different this thing would look. Given everything the NFL went through to finish this season, to put itself in position to actually have the Super Bowl, could you imagine if a guy cutting hair brought the whole thing crashing down? Came that close. That close. But luckily, that's not what happened. 1-800-636-8686. It's like, yo, Daniel, we got to end this haircut right now for your health and your safety. Yeah, I'm not leaving this chair until my hair is high and tight. And I got the right look. Affect the head. Fix the head. James Rome III. Don't talk to me until I've had my French pressed coffee. Beauregard in Pacific Palisades. Yo, Bo, I wasn't talking to you. I never am. Beauregard in the Palisades needs to have his French pressed coffee. All right, in addition to that, again, I'm here for 2 hours and I'm loaded up with interviews, but there's still a few windows for you to get through. Other topics today. It will not go away. Brady v. Belichick. I mean, the Super Bowl is about Brady v. Mahomes, but it's also about Brady v. Belichick. And the latest is a really nice piece in Sports Illustrated where the reporters ran down a few guys that played for the Patriots but did not win a Super Bowl with them and asked them, what are your thoughts now? Like, who is the guy? Is it Brady or is it Belichick? I mean, obviously, it would appear to be Brady, right? Not everybody says so. But where does that leave the Patriots? If Brady is in the Super Bowl and Belichick missed the playoffs altogether, and it doesn't look like it's a quick fix, does the Patriot way actually work? In fact, is there a Patriot way, or was it just Tom Brady? And if Brady's not there, and they're not going to the Super Bowl every other year, how are you going to get guys to go there and buy in with Belichick?